Welcome back to Paul's Yard Walk. This is going to be a two-part episode. This is part one. Part one is basically I'm going to just do a quick walk around, well, not quick, I'm going to walk around the yard and we're going to look and see what the current status of stuff is. Today is Wednesday. We're supposed to have snow tomorrow, Thursday, into Friday. So this is part one, and if we get snow that we're supposed to get, then I'll come out and do a comparison maybe during the snow. We can do kind of a before and after. But this is just to kind of see how things are. We've had a very wet January, February so far. We haven't had real cold weather until just now. So it's been temperatures close to normal, but rain more than normal so far this year. So let's just take a look around and see what's going on. I replanted this pot a while ago. It's just got primroses in it now. These are primroses that are overwintering. They're all probably more than 3 or 4 years old. There's some blue ones, some red ones. They're just starting to bloom. So remember that. We'll see what happens to them. I cleaned out. This was where there was a clematis here that was invasive, and I cleaned that one out. And then I also went ahead and trimmed this guy back. This is a regular clematis that's been here since we moved in. I put it in here originally when I put up this arbor. The one this hole here is where there was one that I think it was invasive. It was an evergreen clematis that I put in there. So I have removed it. And what's going to go in here, I've got two lilikoi, passion fruit. I've got 2 passion fruit vines on order from Raintree. And I'm going to put one of them in here where it's mostly in the shade. And then I'll put another one out over there near the filbert trees. I'll have to get a new arbor for it to grow on, and we'll see if I can get any passion fruits to grow. I've already gone ahead and done some pruning on the figs this year, trying to get them to give me a good crop in the early spring. I've done what I think is a decent job of pruning, and then next year I'll work on some of these. Like this guy here probably will come down. He's getting too tall, but I don't want to take too much off in one year, so I'm only going to do a few of the main branches at a time. And then this guy, the brown, Turkish brown, I took this one off. He's getting a few extra branches. This one then is going to so he's going to probably get cut back around here. Hopefully he'll branch out at this level. And this guy over here is going to branch out right at this level. And so as they start to get tall, I'll cut them back. I'm going to try to get places like here where there's a stump that comes out, and there'll be multiple branches coming off of this stump over time, and this stump will hopefully grow out. So we'll see. Anyway, I've got that done. So the other lilikoi is going to go over here. I've got some mulch that I've gathered up over the winter that I've added to this, and so I'll be putting a trellis in there. The filbert trees has, maybe those are some buds, but they're not very. Luckily, they're not very open. This hillside here has little spring flowers, which I always blank on names. Crocuses. It's got crocuses, but they're not up yet. That's good. Hopefully they'll be up in a few weeks. This filbert tree, there's some catkins left over from last year. It's not really budded out yet either. That's good. This plant here that I put in here last year looks like it's survived so far, but it's gonna lose some of those leaves in this cold snap we're gonna get, I'm afraid. The goji berries, I think they've died back. We'll see what happens. This might be a goji berry stem right here. It's not budded out. That's good. The crabapple trees that I planted last year, their buds are it's got buds, but they haven't opened. They're not opening, so that's good. That one, and this one is going to have the same story, it looks like. And this one over here has the same story. In a year or two, I'll probably prune these, but we'll just let them go for now. Their main job at this point in their life cycle is to just get a good root system going, and then goes from there. This one Mahonia that always blooms in the winter for some reason has a lot of blooms right now, but if we get 20 degrees, these flowers are all gonna freeze. They're gonna die off. But you can see it's got just covered with blooms. There's about 3 blooms up there. They're starting to lose their petals, so they're already, whether they've set fruit or not, I don't know. I don't usually eat them. They're edible, but I usually just leave them for the birds. Speaking of edible, or speaking of not edible, I noticed over here this snowberry. There's a snowberry here, which has a few white snowberries left on it. Some of the birds eat them. But this one here, I noticed it is pink-colored snowberries, and notice that the snowberries, some stuff in here I need to clean up. Notice the snowberries, the pink snowberries, are only near the top. There's no snowberries down here. It looks like I need to come in here. This is really tangled. I really need to come in here and clean that up. So I'll probably do that this spring. But I noticed that there's no snowberries down low, and I'm pretty sure that was a deer, because there's a pile of deer poop right there. So the deer has been eating some of the snowberries, I think. I didn't know deer would eat snowberries, so. All right. We had a lot of rain, and this has been really soggy here. Still is pretty squishy, soggier than normal. I put some baking soda. That's why the moss is kind of yellow colored here. That's why I threw some baking soda on some of the moss. That way in the spring, the grass will, as it gets warmer, the grass will start to grow. And if the moss is too thick, then the grass won't grow. So I try to keep the moss a little bit under control with some baking soda. So let's go back. Here I've had been doing Project Feeder Watch again this year. I had to take the feeders down for a little while because we had pine siskins that had a salmonella disease. I actually found 2 dead pine siskins here. But you can see how wet it's been here. This right here is where I came up here to fill the feeder, and I slipped and moved the mud. I'll have to rake that out in the spring. But we've had a couple of woodpeckers and all the usual birds that I normally get. Sometimes these guys, the camellias, are already blooming at this time of year. They're behind this year, which is probably just as well for them. They're just starting to, a couple of the buds are just starting to open on the big camellia. And there's a smaller camellia back here, which I don't see any flowers on it. I think it blooms later in the year anyway. These mop heads, hydrangeas, the big hydrangeas died back, and I'm going to go in and I'll deadhead these sometime here in the next month or so. This one back here is a little bit more sheltered under the tree, I guess, and its leaves are still green, but if we get 20 degrees, these leaves will all die. But you can see here it's already starting to bud a little bit on the big hydrangea. Here's my compost pile. It's in storage. There's the one that's supposed to be working, and that's the one that's supposed to be finished, but these 2 both have a lot of twigs in them right now. So, but later this year if I turn that one again, I think it'll be ready. I decided to not trim this. Normally I trim this clematis back down to about here. I decided to leave it this year. I'm going to watch and see what happens, just for fun. It seems to not be getting as thick as it used to be, and I wonder if I'm not. Maybe I should just let it go a little bit. I might come in here and clean up a little bit of this so the walkway. Well, we'll see. We'll see where the new growth is in a month or so. Well, actually, yeah, there's some new growth right there. So there's some growth at that height up here too. But in a month or so, we'll see more new growth. And if it's all coming down below, then I'll go ahead and cut. If there's no new growth at the top, I'll go ahead and cut that top stuff off. This heather's got some blooms coming, just starting here. Little white flowers are just starting to open. Let's go over and check and see on the old the old rosemary I dug out of where it used to be, and rather than throw it away, I went ahead and stuck it in the ground here. You can see how old this one is. That's here's the trunk. It's got some life up here at the top. I don't know if it's ever going to really come back, but it's not hurting anything. I'll just leave it there. So I went to the store and I bought another little rosemary plant, and it's right here next to it. So in a year or so, that rosemary plant probably double in height, and then I can use that one if the big one doesn't come back. I was hoping that maybe some new growth would appear down lower, but it's only appearing out at the ends where it was growing before. So it might be ruined. I don't know. The barberry is not budding out yet. This guy has some flowers, but the deer come through this path right here, and they really do a number on him. Let's take a look at the okay, good. The buds haven't opened yet. Yeah, on the rhododendron here. Doesn't look like it's going to have too many buds this year. And it's morning. It's Friday morning. So we got a few flakes of snow on Thursday, and then we got a little snow last night, and you can see that here. Not enough to bury the grass, but enough to give a little covering to everything. And we're supposed to get snow tonight, so I'm going to wait. I'll finish my yard walk tomorrow on Saturday probably. So I'll see you then. All right, so it's Saturday morning. We got more than 6 inches overnight. It looks like we've gotten 8 to 10 maybe so far, something like that. I'm not going to finish the yard walk today. I'm going to stay in the house. It's supposed to get up to like 35 tomorrow on Sunday, so I'll go out Sunday and work on the driveway a little bit probably when it's melting and when the snow stops. And I'll finish the yard walk then. So, yeah, I don't think I'll do a yard walk. It's today's Sunday, and you can see like there's how much snow. I actually cleaned the snow off the car once, and it's piled up again. Yeah, I don't feel like walking around. I mean, in the old days, I would have had some snowshoes, but we don't get enough snow here anymore, and I don't tend to drive in the mountains in the winter, so I don't even have snowshoes. I do have some old cross-country skis. If I was more ambitious, I'd go dig those out. But I don't think I'm that ambitious. I think this is a good day for a good book and coffee, or maybe I'll go play with my model trains. So this is the end of my February yard walk, and it's supposed to maybe start raining a little bit this afternoon, and then it's going to be up over 40 the next couple of days. So this will probably melt off in a few days. It'll start melting back, and I'll go over and start clearing off some of the driveway where it's paved. It melts real fast once the sun can, or once it can hit the dark pavement. And hopefully, then we'll see hopefully the stuff isn't going to get knocked down too bad. I don't think it's that heavy. If we don't get a lot more, I think we're okay. I don't haven't heard any crashing and booming, so no trees have come down here. So I think we're okay. So, all right. Well, maybe we'll do a yard walk next month. So that's all for now.